My name is Alara Quinn. I'm 33, and 2 weeks ago at my uncle's retirement dinner, my entire family applauded while my mother stood up, smiled sweetly, and announced to a room full of relatives that I had never really been part of the legacy. People laughed, some out of discomfort, some because they thought it was a joke. It wasn't. And while everyone was clapping, my aunt, my quiet, almost invisible aunt, slid a small envelope into my lap under the table and whispered just 3 words. Wait, don't react. I didn't understand it then, but those 3 words, they saved me. Before I tell you what was inside that envelope, if you're someone who's ever felt like the outsider in your own family, like you're there but not really seen, yeah, this story is for you. Now, let me take you back. I grew up in a family that believed in appearances, not love, appearances. The Quinns weren't rich, but we acted like we were. Big house, polished smiles, Sunday dinners where everyone performed like we were on some kind of reality show no one could turn off. And my mom, she was the director of it all. If she liked you, you existed. If she didn't, you faded. I started fading around 19. That was the year I decided not to follow the family plan. My brother went into finance. My cousins did law, medicine, business. Clean paths, predictable futures. Me? I chose photography. Not the cute Instagram kind, real photography. Street stories, raw emotion, capturing things people don't want to look at. My mom called it a phase. Then she called it embarrassing. Eventually, she stopped calling it anything at all. She just stopped calling. Family dinners became quieter for me, not because people said things, though sometimes they did, but because they didn't. You ever sit at a table full of people and feel like you're slowly disappearing? Yeah, that was me. Except for one person. My Aunt Leela. She wasn't loud. She didn't argue. She didn't defend me in dramatic speeches. She just saw me. She'd ask about my work, actually listen, remember details. When no one else noticed I'd cut my hair, she did. When my first exhibition failed and I pretended I was fine, she showed up at my apartment with takeout and said, "You don't have to be okay today." That kind of seeing, it hits different. Now, fast forward to that retirement dinner. It was held at this upscale place downtown. Dim lighting, fancy plates you're scared to touch, waiters who judge you silently. The whole family was there. My mom looked perfect. Of course she did. She always does when there's an audience. Dinner went smoothly. Speeches, laughter, the usual, we're such a perfect family vibe. Then my mom stood up. You know that feeling when your gut just drops for no reason? Yeah, that. She started talking about legacy, about how the Quinn family built everything through discipline, unity, and shared values. Then she started naming people. My brother, a pillar of success. My cousin, a future leader. Even my younger niece got a shout out for promising potential. And then she paused, looked straight at me, smiled. Ilara, she said, chose a different path, and while we all wish her well, she's never really been part of what this family stands for. There it was, clean, polished, brutal. A few people chuckled like it was some edgy humor. My chest tightened, my ears rang. I could feel every eye in the room slide toward me. And in that exact moment, I wanted to explode. To stand up, call her out, list every time she dismissed me, every time she made me feel small. But before I could move, my Aunt Leela's hand touched mine under the table. Warm, steady. And she slipped that envelope into my palm. Wait, don't react. I froze. Something in her voice. It wasn't panic, it was certainty. So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I smiled. Not a fake, performative smile, just calm. "Thanks, Mom," I said. That threw her off. You could see it. Just for a second, she expected drama, tears, a scene. Instead, I gave her nothing. And nothing can be louder than anything. The dinner moved on, but the energy had shifted. People whispered, avoided eye contact. My brother stared at his plate like it held the secrets of the universe. And me, I sat there with that envelope burning in my hand like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I didn't open it there. I waited. I got through dessert, the awkward goodbyes, the forced hugs. Then I stepped outside. Cold air hit my face, and I finally opened it. Inside was a single folded paper and a key. The paper had one sentence. "Everything they ignored, I kept for you." I read it again, and again. My hands started shaking, because suddenly pieces of the last decade started rearranging themselves in my head. Aunt Leela had always been quiet, but quiet doesn't mean inactive. The next morning, I called the number written at the bottom of the note. A law office. The receptionist didn't hesitate. "Oh, Ilara, we've been expecting you." That phrase again, expecting you. I went in that same day. The lawyer, Mr. Hayes, was calm, precise, the kind of man who speaks like every word matters. He opened a file. And then, he changed my life. "Your aunt established a trust in your name 11 years ago." 11 years. Back when I thought I was completely alone. Inside that trust, a small commercial property, 2 investment accounts, and full ownership of a studio space, the same one I had once tried and failed to rent years ago. I just stared at him. "She bought it?" I whispered. He nodded. "She told me you'd try to build something real. She just didn't want you to have to beg for space to do it." I couldn't breathe. All those years, I thought she was just being kind. She was building something. For me. Quietly. Carefully. Legally. "She didn't tell you because she believed you needed to grow without relying on it. And she was concerned your mother might interfere." He wasn't wrong. If my mom had known, she would have found a way to twist it, control it, claim it. But Aunt Leela, she played the long game. I left that office in a daze. Not because of the money, because of what it meant. Someone had believed in me, consistently, without needing credit for it. 3 days later, everything blew up. My mom found out. I don't even know how. Maybe through family gossip, maybe through the legal notifications. She called me, furious. "You manipulated her." I laughed, not because it was funny, because it was predictable. I didn't even know. "That's impossible." "Call her," I replied. Silence. Because deep down, she knew. Aunt Leela had always been underestimated. That was her advantage. The truth spread fast. Families run on stories, and when the story flips, everything shifts. Suddenly, the outsider wasn't so irrelevant. Suddenly, the quiet aunt wasn't so invisible. Suddenly, my mom wasn't in control anymore. And here's the part people expect to be dramatic. Revenge, public exposure, a big "I told you so." But that's not what happened, because, honestly, I didn't need it. I took the studio. I turned it into something real. A creative space, workshops, exhibitions, the kind of place I once dreamed about at 2 a.m. when everything felt impossible. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to prove anything to my family. I was just living. My brother visits sometimes. Quiet, a little awkward, but trying. My mom, she sent a message once. I didn't realize. I didn't reply.
Not out of anger, just clarity. Some realizations come too late. Aunt Leela still comes by every Sunday. Same as always. She sits in the corner, watching people interact, watching me work. One day I asked her, "Why me?" She smiled. "Because you never tried to fit where you didn't belong." I think about that a lot. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Being the empty chair in your family, the overlooked one, the misfit, it doesn't always mean you're less. It sometimes means you're just different. And different doesn't always get celebrated.